Happy 4th of July, America. My name is Kasey Wells. I'm an artist from Illinois, and I'm running for president in 2020. So let me introduce myself. To get by right now, I scrap metals. I have a lot of different people around town that donate metals to me, and occasionally I take them into the scrap yard. And sometimes I'll use those metals to make art. Recently, I made this elephant with my friend Kyle Riley, who's an artist from Chicago. And it started off though as an old farm fuel tank, kind of like this one, but it was a Standard Oil farm fuel tank. If you come over here, I'll show you sort of how it all began. So back here you can see in the tail end of the elephant the symbol for Standard Oil. And that's how it all started off. I had this old farm fuel tank on my trailer one day, and it was last August on my birthday, and a friend of mine helped me get it off of there. And I also had a backboard on there too, like this one, and I just kept looking at that farm fuel tank and seeing this backboard and thinking elephant. And I've also done a lot of research on the history of Standard Oil and the Rockefeller family and their wealth and philanthropy over the last 100 years. So I thought it would be a nice opportunity to incorporate some of that information that I have discovered into this artwork. So I guess if you come over this side, you can see on here on this side, well, the title of the piece is American Standard. And I say the Rockefeller family has set the standard in so many different industries in our country, but most specifically oil. And on this side of this elephant, you can see all the different subsidiaries of Standard Oil. You see BP, Phillips 66, Shell, Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, Sinclair, Gulf, Texaco, Amoco, Esso, Sunco, Humble, and so on. All of those are subsidiaries of the original Standard Oil. So when you go down the interstate and you see an exit sign that has all these on there, it really gives a false sense of diversity in the marketplace. You see, because when John D. Rockefeller was ordered to break up his monopoly back in, I think it was like 1909, around that time. Anyway, he was ordered to split it up into 34 different companies. And he owned a quarter of the shares in all those companies, and those shares rose, and it actually tripled his wealth from him breaking up Standard Oil. And from that wealth, here, come around to the back side. Philanthropies. Their family has really controlled economics and politics in our country over the past 100 years through their family philanthropies. There are several of them. On here I have many of them listed. Their first one was Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, which was founded in 1891. And the tagline for it was philanthropy as if it were a business. And if you can imagine, John D. Rockefeller was the most ruthless businessman in the oil industry. And if you can imagine a way he applied that mentality towards philanthropy can give you an idea of how they come to run the world. In 1913, the Rockefeller family founded the Rockefeller Foundation, and the tagline for it was Smart Globalization. And that was the same year that the Federal Reserve was founded. And I could tell you Rockefeller money was also behind the foundations of the Federal Reserve. John D. Rockefeller Jr. married Abby Aldrich, which was the daughter of Senator Nelson Aldrich, who wrote the pamphlets that became the Federal Reserve Act. And they have controlled our money supply ever since then. The Federal Reserve is a private banking institution and is not run by our government. It's an independent agency that has no government oversight. And I got a big problem with that, and that's something I would like to change in 2020. Next, I could say the other big philanthropy I have a problem with is Rockefeller Brothers Fund, because it was founded with the sole idea of controlling public policy That's a lot of their philanthropies and their conditional grants that they give out. Control public policy and education and so many other different aspects of our society. But John D. Rockefeller, the one thing that he invented through Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, which he was so proud of, is conditional grants. That is money that is given to organizations with a specific intent, with instructions on how that money is to be spent. And conditional grants have given them control over so many different aspects of our society. Here on the butt are some other things that are listed that the Rockefeller family and their private interests are involved in. And on the hips here are different knives that I have written on them that are some of the things that they're involved in as well. They do a lot of insider trading. They founded super PACs and the super delegates. They were involved in the establishment of the General Education Board. Another thing that they're really proud of is impact investing, and the way that plays out into public policy is by giving a small amount of money to maybe like a think tank that writes a PDF that then gets implemented in public policy and distributed all over the country into economic development councils and other sort of agencies that control our society in different ways. And so on this side of the elephant are all societal development strategies and organizations that are funded by the Rockefeller family. And I could list them. You know, there's like the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the United Nations, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Council of Churches, the Council of Councils. It goes on from Japan Society, Asia Society, Council of Americas, the International Basic Economy Corporation. It gets a little bit mind-boggling when you really look into all the details of that. But so on this hip too are some other things that they're involved in. I have all these knives and forks and other baseball bats and things that you might think of an old-fashioned idea of a revolution taking place, people picking up arms and taking to the streets. I got that on here with different words that reflect the things that I got a problem with that they are into. But on this here, I would say are the things, if I were to become president in 2020, are the things I would like to fight against. And on this here are the things I would like to fight for. And so a secondary title of this piece is Elephant in the Room or Elephant in the Yard. And what this is about pointing out the things that we often don't talk about in our culture, but that need some attention brought to them. And that's what I'm here to do in 2020. And helping me on my way to the White House, I'm looking for somebody with the deep pockets that maybe also has concerns, as I do, about Rockefeller family's great influence over our society and culture. And this elephant will be up for auction from today, July 4th, until August 8th of this year. And if anybody would like to place a bid or make an offer on this, the opening our reservation price to start is $10,000. If anybody would like this, it's up for auction at a price of $10,000, and we were wanting to sell it at contract, where if it's ever to be resold, that those profits would be split 50-50. Because the reason for that is David Rockefeller was the honorary, well, he was the patriarch of their family up until his passing 2 years ago. And of all his investments that he was invested into, art he got the biggest return on. For example, he bought a Mark Rothko painting back in 1960 for $8,000 and then resold it at Christie's auction in 2007. No, yeah, I think it was 2007 for around $73 million. And you could probably guess how much of that money went back to the Rothko family. And so I'm not a banker or a philanthropist or anything else. I'm just an honest artist and concerned citizen of the United States that's running for president, and I want to do something to change the direction of this country. And this is the only real investment I have to show. So I have to protect that by doing, hey, hi Richard, by doing it at contract. So if anybody is interested in helping me out or would like to display this wherever they would like to display it, $10,000 is the opening bid, and hopefully I can generate some interest. So if anybody is interested, contact me at kaseywellsforpresident.com or kaseywellsforpresident@gmail.com. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and again, happy 4th of July, and I'll see you later. Take care.